What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
We're here to do another episode of unscripted tortured bourbon.
Like, crazy things might happen. Like, pieces of the set start falling down.
Which happened right prior to this.
But welcome.
So this is take 2.
Welcome for the first time if you're new here. Welcome back if you're returning. We're not really sure why, but thanks for coming back.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you.
We're glad to have you.
If you are new here, we try to do 3 episodes a week. They all have kind of a different theme. And occasionally we do one of these unscripteds where we literally just go off the cuff. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to continue watching this and help my mental health journey, please click the like and subscribe.
And if you want to make me really happy, follow us on socials, X, Facebook, and Instagram. I almost forgot my favorite. And if you really make me really happy, shoot me a message. Let's chat. Tell us some ideas for episodes you'd like us to do. Constructive criticism or just to say how amazing you think we are.
You can say I suck. It's fine.
We haven't gotten any of your We've gotten, it's pretty good.
The feedback has been wonderful.
It has.
In all reality.
Y'all have been great. We've found some really great people in the YouTube world
who
have been super supportive.
And speaking of the YouTube world, we're using one of Steve's bottles. Steve's one of our most amazing patrons. Mm-hmm. And he has helped us immensely with some of our tastings and ideas.
Both ideas and like rounding out our resources for the bourbon selection so that we can do much more,
unscripted.
So that we can do many more pairings and combinations.
Yes, he's been fantastic. So thank you again, Steve. This episode was born out of 2 other episodes that we've done. Is that a good? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
accurate.
We were doing the Sazerac world. Specifically, we did Buffalo Trace and then we did Barton. And in our second episode of Barton, we did the aged 12 years. Mm-hmm. So if you want to learn all about the history of Barton, my suggestion is you go back and actually watch episode 1 of that. And if you want to go and then see how we rated the 12 years with the bottled in bond and the single barrel, you'll want to watch episode number 2.
That's right. And spoiler alert, we loved this one.
This was, in our rating system, that's cock of the walk. So
that's
if you're new here, that means it rules the roost. We'll get to that. Now, then we did an episode where we did a deep dive into Knob Creek. Mm-hmm. And we were really looking forward to that. And in that episode, we tell you the story of how we came across our 18-year Knob Creek, which we were pretty excited about.
Yeah.
So we run the gamut with Knob Creek. And if you'd like to learn all about the history of Knob Creek, and of course it's a product of the
Jim Beam Suntory.
That's right. Claremont, Kentucky, right here. Do a whole background on it. So we're not going to go too deep into the history of either one of these, but we will start out by saying is we thought these were excellent competitors with one another to sit on the barrel tonight.
And the more we got into it, the more we realized what good comparisons they were. I mean, from everything from mash bill similarities to obviously the age is the same.
Age is the same.
And then also the aroma, palate, and finish, right?
Yeah,
Dee?
so just while we're not scripted, we do have a couple notes here. And there was only a 1 or 2 word difference in describing either one of them. Mm-hmm. And the main difference there is that Knob Creek was talking more about, in the palate, more of a nut taste, which kind of goes along with the Knob Creek thing. Mm-hmm. And then the age 12 years was mentioning more, at the end, the linger being a toffee and spice. So they used toffee, whereas this talked about lingering. They both talked about oak, but leather and a subtle smoky sweetness. So
yeah,
very, very similar.
Very similar, but I think both of those, and I'm glad you pulled out those specific distinctions because I think that is in line with kind of our thoughts on, in general, the 1792 kind of flavor profile versus the Knob Creek flavor profile. That both of those track.
Yep. And while the good people at Sazerac do not disclose mash bills, because we obviously would run out and make age 12 years tonight in my backyard. The belief is that the difference here is about 2% in the rye. Mm-hmm. And other than, and then that balances out in the barley. And so they're supposed to have similar mash bills. Now, what will not be disclosed by any distiller, they both use a proprietary yeast. And if you've ever done any type of distilling, brewing, winemaking, yeast makes a huge difference. And of course, that's something that they're not going to talk about with you. So we know that, Jim Beam has their proprietary yeast, and we know that the Barton line for this has their proprietary yeast. So there's going to be a difference. And obviously, where they age them and how they age them, the barrels that they use, Knob Creek does tell us that they're using a number 4 char. I have not been able to find where Sazerac has verified what char they're using.
Well, then you would be able to copy it even more quickly and easily.
Our sarcasm knows no bounds when it comes to this.
The Sazerac. And honestly, though, what you were saying is a great point, and why I love doing comparisons between two that should, on paper, taste the same, and almost every time they don't taste anything alike.
Which is what makes bourbon
Which is so
great.
interesting, and it goes to the artistry, for lack of a better word, in the barrel picking and the locations and all the yeast strain and a little bit of science too.
Now, the other main difference I would like to point out is that on MSRP, they both are around, the Knob Creek is right around 65, 69 from what I could tell, from what we've been able to see. We've never seen the age 12 years in the wild at our allocated ABC stores.
No, not even in an allocation drop.
No, have not. But it still, I think it's around a $60 to $70 bottle. Now the difference
you're not going to find.
Now the difference is, now this currently is not available in any Wake County ABC stores, but it is available in several of the counties around us. And we just checked that inventory, and it sells right around $65 or $69 after tax. And we also looked on the secondary market at things like Nestor's and Flavor and those things, and they were selling it for around $65 plus shipping. So your upcharge on this is the shipping,
it's the
right?
shipping.
So
or tax,
depending on where you live. If it's where you can pick it up, it's where you can pick it up. So while it's not as available as say your Knob Creek 9-year, it's available. It's available. You can find it. If you want it, you're going to be able to get it. And quite frankly, we might be getting a bottle tomorrow from Youngsville. But this, on the other hand, we did see it in secondary 1 or 2 places for 100, but for the most part, it was hanging in the 140 and up.
Usually
plus
under
shipping.
2.
Plus shipping.
But it was going to run you between 140 and 200.
Yeah, plus
shipping.
Yep. Yeah. Depending on, your hey, Bandit, that's our puppy. So depending on, your relationship with that, whether you're in their club or whatever. But that's one of the things we want to look at. We've already said that if anyone has a lead on one of these let us know. At MSRP, we're down.
Or even like $10 more at MSRP, we'll come get it.
It is fantastic. But we're curious as to put it up against the Knob Creek. So
I'm excited to
taste.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the Sazerac. The Sazerac Barton 1792 aged 12
Go all
years.
the way down the tree.
Let's go all the way down the tree. Yes.
All right, I'll take front.
Yep.
All right, so smells like bourbon.
It does. It has a.
I'm really good at this, guys.
Oh, actually, this is actually where you shine.
The only place.
So there has noticeable oak, and there should be. It's sat in an oak barrel for 12 years.
Yeah. And I expect this one with a number 4 char to have an even stronger.
Yeah. Molasses or brown sugar.
Yeah, it's a deeper. We've talked about this in previous episodes. It's that deeper caramel molasses brown sugar flavor or smell. Excuse me.
Yeah, not necessarily a light butterscotch. This is getting into a heavy caramel candy.
So I have a question. When you smell things, do you taste it too while you're smelling it? Okay, apparently some people don't.
Can't believe. Thanks.
She's so shocked right now.
Well, I'm no scientist in terms of smellology or whatever that's called. I know that's not what it's called. Yeah. But when I've read about nosing bourbon and nosing wine, they talk about you should do some with your mouth closed and some with your mouth open, and that gives you different sensations. And I think that's pretty widely known. That's not some rocket scientist.
Yeah, but not to somebody new on this journey. I didn't know that before we started.
Okay, fair.
And every time someone says nosing bourbon, I just think they're doing like a little nosy up to
I like you so much. It's like you're doing a little teddy bear.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
Like if you're a little baby. Hey, nosing my baby. We just had dinner. We had water with dinner.
This is just us.
Yeah.
Are you ready to taste it?
Is there any other olfactory that you're...
Nice use of the word.
I don't know if I used it right, but...
I think we're good.
Olfactory sense.
Okay, let's think. Maybe a little bit, not chocolate, but like a, more of like a cocoa bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little earth to it.
Yeah. Oh, and also, that made me think the proof points are also negligibly different. So I recall from the last time I had this, and it's true again this time, the finish on this one is one of my favorite finishes.
And it's in your back teeth. Mm-hmm. I was waiting, like, there it is.
There it is.
It kind of sits in the teeth.
It lingers for a while.
Does it linger?
It has to.
Do you have to let it linger?
You have to.
You have to let it linger.
You have to let it linger. Hey, cranberries.
Oak up front, oak in the back.
Party
caramel,
in the middle.
Caramel, sweet.
But there's something after the oak in the back.
Yeah.
It's a really great sweet flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And the linger on it, like I'm still tasting it now. And it's very pleasant. Any heat in this one is more of just that pleasant kind of warming sensation. Look at those legs. Those are long legs.
Yep. It's got a mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use the word thick, but...
No, but what we've talked about,
coating.
buttery, syrupy. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It does have... Interesting that it's just under 100 proof. You could have told me it's 100 proof and I would have gone with it.
Oh, yeah. You could have even probably told me it was like 105.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
But it doesn't drink necessarily hot, but it is warming to the tongue.
Warming. Exactly.
It's warming to the tongue. My guess is that's definitely that rye that's been sitting there in that barrel and just loving every minute of it.
It's a happy little rye.
Happy little rye. I get, as we discussed on that episode, there's that brown sugar sweetness.
And I think that's the sweetness that I get that lingers for a while is brown sugar.
And it leaves your mouth.
Brown sugar honey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It tastes like really, really, really good oatmeal. Like when you have like maple syrup and brown sugar.
Just
and
like that.
All of that good stuff. Well, think about it because, I mean, oatmeal's grains.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. I'm just sort of thinking,
We both really like oatmeal.
I eat oatmeal like 4 days a week.
I eat it like every morning at work.
Yeah.
And I'm a maple and brown sugar.
That my big bag of oats from
Well, you have to add
Kirkland's.
some stuff to it. You gotta add some things.
It's a little more available than the 12-year.
It is.
17.
So all you need to do is just soak it in a barrel for a while. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna taste exactly the same.
Yeah. So I've expertly left a little bit there.
We learned that lesson.
Yeah, we did. So I've left a little bit there.
We're
We're in a very calm state tonight. Have you noticed that?
very like
We're just kind of chill.
We're very chill.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on to now the legacy that is the Jim Beam family and
We've
their
heard of them.
master distillers that go back 6 generations. Unreal.
It's absurd.
Yeah. And their fingers are in just about every distillery.
Yes.
Old distillery in the state of Kentucky.
That smells like a Werther's original.
Oh yeah.
From your granny's purse. Yeah, I mean that is very, very butterscotch toffee caramel. This one, the Knob Creek, excuse me.
And all of a sudden, it makes the aged 12 years have a little more light fruit.
Yeah, I smell that now, and I'm like, ooh, that's nice and light. It's weird. And it makes this then you smell the toffee butterscotch caramel more.
I'm thinking it's going to stick in my mouth. I mean, it's just...
What just happened?
That's what it sounds like it's going to do to me, man. This is unscripted. Give me a break.
I just pictured you eating a sugar daddy. Isn't this what those were?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. And you can't talk, and you're like... And you're like, why am I eating this?
But it's this big log of caramel. It's
how has there not been so many like choking situations with children?
And how is it that my granny just, you're going to love these? I mean, they're worried about me choking on a hot dog, but eat these sugar daddies.
Oh my gosh, one time.
Your mouth gets stuck together. You don't even know what's happening.
3 of my parents are like, here's a Jolly Rancher in church. Choked the heck out of me.
A Jolly Rancher does nowhere compete with the sugar daddy.
No, that really will choke you.
I mean,
that will lock your jaws
But what I'm saying
together.
In terms of taste, Werther's and sugar daddies.
You know why they gave you sugar daddies?
Well, to shut
you
me
up for a while.
I can't breathe.
You're fine. Breathe through your nose.
You'll be fine. Tell it to the kid with allergies who needed the nasal surgery. Breathe through your nose. Sounding like a dying warthog in church. Thanks, Mom. I'm glad to get this.
I can totally picture your granny being like, you're fine. Stop being so loud. Stop snorting so loud.
Breathe quieter.
Breathe less.
You don't need to breathe. I didn't breathe for 10 years.
Back in my day, we didn't need to breathe.
That's right.
When we fought the Nazis, we let go of oxygen for 4 years.
We gave that to the troops. It was embargoed.
We rationed that.
We rationed.
We gave our best oxygen to the boys at the front.
We gave our bras to gasoline and oxygen.
So I read a really great story the other day. Okay. This was actually really fun. And it was...
Did you give your bra to a soldier?
No!
Oh, okay.
I haven't met that right soldier yet. No, it was a story about this woman in the French Resistance who got really pissed off about, Nazis because they suck. And she had an unfortunate transmitted disease. So she decided how she was going to fight the war is she was going to sleep with as many of them as possible and give them syphilis. And they think that she infected well over 100.
That's chemical warfare.
Darn right. You're darn right.
It's Agent Orange right
Talk about making your mess. Making your mess your message. Isn't that a great story though?
It's unreal.
It's like, you know what?
Did Quentin Tarantino write that? Is that a Glorious Bastards 2?
3 versus 3. Yes. It is. Isn't that a great story?
That's amazing. I'm not editing that.
You should. It's a great story.
That's amazing.
It's true.
She's a hero.
That's what everybody said.
A statue of her.
A hero and an icon, honestly.
A statue of her.
Long may she reign.
Yeah. And we first tasted this a year ago. Mm-hmm. Over a year ago. Mm-hmm. It was... The age was too much for us.
It was hot for us.
It was hot, which is
oaky.
funny. It was the oak. It was more the oak. Mm-hmm. And now
it was too spicy.
Now it's lovely.
I thought it was so spicy.
It's lovely.
It's delicious.
So
caramelly.
It is caramelly. It does taste, for lack of a better term, thicker. I know that it's not. Well, I mean, I don't know that it's not. I'd have to do some type of test to it, but is that viscosity?
Sure, that sounds good.
According to the New Oxford American Dictionary, viscosity is the state of being thick, sticky, and semi-fluid in consistency due to internal friction.
Nailed it. You're so happy right now.
I am.
That was well done.
So in tasting, it's caramel. It's caramel forward. It has a thicker mouthfeel. It's viscosity.
Which we had already felt like... viscosity. We had already felt like the age 12 year had a syrupy mouthfeel, but I think this one has, you're right, even more.
I would call this syrupy, and I would call Knob Creek syrupy and 12 years
buttery.
The 1792 buttery. Yeah,
I agree with that.
It has. So as we talked about in our episode, which you can go check out, Knob Creek products have. And they're bakers. Mm-hmm. They have a nut to them.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
That oak stands out.
Right.
And that's I don't know if that's a product of their yeast. I don't know if it's a product of it's a char barrel. I mean, they're all char, but they have a heavy char. So I don't know where that, I don't have the resources to know exactly where that comes from. But that does make it a unique character. Now, what I did find interesting is when we did this with the sweet wheat and
Weller
12.
12.
After we had the Weller, we could then taste
The nut.
the
Smell
nut,
and
and
taste
that
it.
was. I wish we had that on camera because it blew us away.
Oh, yeah. It blew our minds.
That was after we stopped. So of these two, here's where I have a quandary. Is this too oaky for some people?
Probably. It's probably going to be a little, but I don't know that it is off-puttingly so. It's gonna. I think almost we need to focus more too on the spiciness, because it does have a heavy spice. But you like spice.
At $63, $65 and available, that's we acknowledge that for some people that's an investment. And that's okay, and we're not saying for us it's not, but we're saying
we think twice before we buy a $60 bottle. Yeah.
We want to know what we're buying when we buy a $65.
We're not going to just buy that and not know anything about it.
So except for science, we've done it for science a few times.
Well, for science,
but in our general lives, no, we're not. And so we try to represent that. And I think if you're looking for that taste profile, if in your mind bourbon is a thicker, chewier caramel spice, if that's your wheelhouse, this
with
is
some age on it.
With some
oak.
age, yeah. This is it, right?
Yeah.
And I still think, a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, our thing was because we got this kind of in the springtime, and I'm like, we need to try this by a fire pit. It was like 95 degrees that day.
And then a few months ago, we did just that.
We did, and wow,
we loved it.
We
just like stopped everything and just
because we went in with zero expectation. Like what did we get ourselves into? And we put a dent. We put a dent in it.
So I almost feel like this one's like slightly gentler cousin.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like if this is just a little much of that flavor profile and you want something that has hints of that, but a little more fruity.
So are these two roosters going at it?
So you think two cocks of the walk going at it?
Do you think that's what this is?
But they're different ones?
Yeah.
I think they might both be cock of the walk. Just in their own way.
For me they are.
Yeah.
But I think there's some people out there that this is, the proof is basically the same. I think that
it's the spice.
The spice and its chewing that some people are going to steer clear of. But for me, it's cock of the walk.
No, I think, and it's funny because I would not have rated it that a year ago.
But for $65-ish, a 12-year.
And to be able to get it.
So the Widow Jane is $100, $120
for the
13-year. That's kind of where my point.
Well, and the Baker's 13 is up there.
Well, yeah,
way up there.
Yeah. By the same
right,
folks.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, if you're trying to find something with a little age on it that you can actually get, and it is affordable in the realm of affordable, that's a solid pick.
The Baker's 13 might be a single barrel.
The 7 is. The 7 is a single barrel.
So that might be your price difference there.
I'd have to look. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
I know
that might be your price difference.
It might be. Well, this is a small batch for whatever that means.
Whatever that means. A small batch that's readily available. But, it's 100 proof. It's sitting right in there. Mm-hmm. And it drinks every bit of 100 proof.
You know you're drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it subtle. This is the more subtle of the two.
Well, yeah, and one wanted to be Woodford Reserve. If you want to know that story, watch the episode.
Yeah.
I'm listen, they're both cock of the walk.
We're not going to turn either of them down.
No. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we did this. This was fun.
This was good.
I
like these comparison episodes.
Oh, I do. They're fantastic.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we've learned on the fly more with these than we have in some other super planned ones.
Yeah, but we've done some research prior.
That's true, but I mean more about palate and taste and things like that.
That's what makes bourbon fun.
It does make it fun.
And learning about French resistance fighters.
I'm always here for the fun facts.
That was History with Heather.
That was History After Dark with Heather. Anyway. So until our next episode.
Join us next time for History with Heather, where we will learn more about French resistance fighters, World War II, and how that relates to 12-year-old bourbon.
It's
Until
there. There's
then,
a connection.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all. On that note.
Until our next episode of Tortured Bourbon, where Lord knows what we'll talk about in the annals of World War II.
I think it's the annals.
Oh, let me back that up.
Yeah, you're backing something up. Apparently. We're this close. We're this close. From the annals of history, spreading syphilis one Nazi at a time.
That's a t-shirt. That is a slogan.
It says something.
That's a Life is Good shirt right there.
That's a quote for your gravestone.
Yeah.
Didn't Hitler have syphilis?
You know, I haven't had a chance to ask him.